Yeah, now I know what I want to show you. So if you wanted to basically change a document here, so what I have is this is facing pages, but this is a web page document. It doesn't make sense to have a web page document with facing pages, right? So because in my pages panel here, if I hit new page, new page, new page, it's all these different size pages facing each other, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I wanted to not be facing pages. I wanted to delete all those. And I just want it to be page for page for page, okay. So if I go to File and Document Setup here and uncheck facing pages, that's how I could get it done. These are all the settings, 1024 by 768 for a website. I'll just hit OK, and now my artwork nudged a little bit, but now if I hit New Page, I'm doing page for page and seeing that. Just kind of duplicate. Now you can see here is that this page essentially is a little bit shorter than this one. So if I wanted to kind of demo that this page was a little bit stockier or shorter than another page, this is what the website's header would section would look like to a person. Let's say we wanted to show a client. I'll select all, copy and paste onto the next one. Let's say we wanted to show, a client what, the halfway page scroll is or whatever, and then we want to show the client, what the bottom of the page looks like, the very bottom. We could easily do that by extending this page panel here, and just to kind of show a client like, something like this is kind of what it would look like as you're scrolled down further in the page. If my header was of much importance to them, I don't really have anything there in that, but just something to keep in mind that kind of showing web pages is helpful, with InDesign. So what I would typically do is do like a Command A and copy, paste in place everything. Kind of, well, I have to make my pasteboard a little bit larger, so let me make it larger. Bring it down a bit. Okay, so if I wanted to say, okay, so this is showing me what it looks like when I click on Solutions and Services, but I want to say, okay, this is what the next page will look like. Let's say it's the contact page. So I'll select the contact page icon. I'll use my my little eyedropper tool to adopt that style of what the selected link looks like. Change the colors up a little bit. So let's say this page looks different. This page looks like, not my home page, it'll look like this. Get rid of all this content. I'll say contact us. Let's see, get rid of that type. This is a 2-column, you can't see it, but I'll turn my invisibles on. This is a 2-column text box, so I'm copying. I'm going to show you that text kind of flows from one column to the other. To make it into a 1-column, I'll just select the text box. And let's see, over here, it doesn't have any words or anything, so that doesn't make it very helpful. But if you hover over this little column icon, it says number of columns. So I can increase to 3, 4, all the way down to 1. And you can see that the text actually runs across now, right? So I'll get rid of all this imagery, because that's not going to show up on my contact page. Drag all this up. Here's kind of a sort of what this page, let's say, for instance, might look like. Let's do a big copy here. Paste, paste. Oh. Name, phone, email, and you could just go on and on and on. But let's just say we wanted to make this mock up some form fields, okay? So I'll draw my rectangle tool, give it a border. This is my shape. Let me fill it so it's a little easier to work with. Copy, delete. Now you can actually delete, or actually paste an object that you've copied onto your paste board into a line of text. So I'm going to double click this text here. I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to actually just paste my object that I copied. So now this object is actually within my line of text. So it makes it a little bit easier to mock stuff up that way instead of doing something like this. Let me drag a copy of it. You know, you can't do that with photos. Just keep in mind you can only do that with vector objects. So it makes it a lot easier to do that than to do space, 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 you know, paste, and then move. Oh, copy. And then like move things into position and make sure they're lined up, right? And I'm going to duplicate that again. Make sure that this text is gone, and now I want to make sure this looks even and everything. I don't really want to bother with that. I'll just paste my object directly into my line of text, and then I can literally format it like it's a piece of text. So let's say, for instance, I want a even spacing between all of these objects. Okay, I'll select all of it. I'll actually go into my paragraph window here, and I'm just going to start manipulating this type and this text just as if it's a piece of a paragraph copy. So there's like, you know, a secondary page for what page, and then essentially I could then copy and paste that and then show them a third page and then a fourth page and a fifth page. It's much easier to do a mock-up like that in Photoshop. Okay, now let's say, for instance, I want to take this and basically show them what it would look like on a computer screen or what it would look like on a mobile version, right? Okay, what would this look like on a mobile version? Let me select this, bring it down, this, bring it down. Actually, hold on a second, I'm going to actually copy and paste it right here to a new slide. The mobile version, I'm just going to change the page size. Again, I'm holding Alt, clicking and dragging. So let me bring this down. Let's say you want to change that menu up, right? If you want just a collapsible menu, you could just mock that in real quick, just so people get a better idea, and then actually, you know, fund the project or something like that, or you know, get your approval and then give it to a developer to start developing. You can do some, you know, that too, so you can show a client, you know, all the different variations. Now, for some reason, let me all right. So that's the gist of that. One last thing I want to show you is the Command K option. So this is preferences, as you recall. This is the one that we used a lot in Illustrator. And Photoshop, we don't use it so much, but back in Illustrator, you could adjust your units and increments here, but then also under, let's see, under type, typographer's quotes can be turned on and off here. Typographer's quotes is one where if you hit the quote symbol without typographer's quotes selected, then it's going to give you your inches. I'll zoom in on that. Inches, okay. And then I'll go back to Command K, hit type, select typographer's quotes, hit OK, and then hit the same, and then now I have my curly quotes. So that's one that could probably get frustrating if you don't know that, and that'll be used a lot as you move forward. And then the other big one here is units and increments. So if I change this to, oh, I'm sorry, it's the wrong menu. If I go back to pixels. If I change this to, let's see, my keyboard increments from 1 pixel to like 5 pixels, and then hit OK. Every time I hit my key on my or my arrow key on an object, it's going to move 5 pixels instead of going back 1. So I'll do something more. Where are you? Units and increments. Here we go. I'll do like 25, so you can see how just 1 click, so move at 25 at that point. So that's always helpful in that menu.